Yo, what's poppin'? Yo, what up? What's going on? Welcome Monday night, people. It's good to have y'all back. I know y'all are logging in right now. It's your man, Dean Edwards. We are back. We are black once again. It's a Monday night slide. Gato, I see you. Shannon's, what up? Improv Chicago, what's going on? Coach, I see you. Sawyer, what up? What up, Elijah? What's going on? It's your man, Dean Edwards. It's a Monday night. Welcome to another week of the Futhamuckin Protocol. Barry Ribs, I see you. What's going on, fam? Yes, it's Aries time. My man Aries will be on shortly. Jessica Moore, I see you. What's up, sis? Marissa 2000, Ramirez Delfino, Blood 5620 piece. Peace in here, Greece. Aries, I see you. Aries is the earliest and promptest. And we got it squared away early. So as we welcome my guest, my brother, what's going on,
What's
fam?
up? What's up with you, boy? You good?
Chilling. Hold on,
I'm
let
good,
me put
son.
in
You
my
all right?
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Aries, what's going on, family?
What's up, boy? You good?
Chilling. Yes, sir. I'm good. How you feeling?
Oh shit! You know it's another day, baby.
Yeah, man. It's another day. I know people are just logging on. It's your man Dean Edwards. I have a special guest this week. They're all special guests and friends, and I just want to give you your proper intro. For everybody tuning in to the Futhamuckin Protocol this week, my guest tonight. Look, I have notes, son. I'm so professional right now.
I like it.
This next cat, you saw him. He did 10 years as one of, I think, the second longest cast member in the history of Mad TV. He's the youngest comic to ever be featured on HBO's Def Comedy Jam. You know his voice work from the Proud Family, the Boondocks, Black Dynamite, and C-Bear and Jamal. He's an actor. You've seen him in numerous television and film programs. Most notably, you know him. I remember him as the brother from Jerry Maguire.
Damn, you almost got the whole resume.
Look, a different world. And hold on, and South of Sunset playing Zingy Dwayne, because I remember that show.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
He's a well-respected and world-traveled stand-up comedian with two great comedy specials, Hollywood Look, I'm Smiling, which I love that title, and Comedy Blueprint, which is a shout out to Hov, which I appreciate. And he's the first comic that I think has ever done that a lot of people jacked it, Shaquille O'Neal impression, and hosted the AVN Awards in 2018 and 2020, which I just recently watched. Big up to my man and yours, Aries Spears in the building, family. What's good?
What's
brother?
up, man? You did your homework, man. Damn, I wasn't
Hey,
expecting
man,
all that.
Look, man. For those that don't know, the Futhamuckin Protocol this is a podcast I do every Monday night, 11 p.m. I bring on some of my favorite comedians / comics / in this month in August, I'm having my favorite comedians that do impressions. But I'm not saying impressionist because you're more than just an impressionist. So I want to make sure people understand that. And we get under the hood, man. I like to find out what makes people tick, their origin stories, and really, get to, where you started to where you are today. I appreciate starting off by finding out that you're good, because during these times it's important just to find out how you've been doing for the last 5-6 months, bro.
Man, I think we all try to take it in stride, man. It's kind of killing morale a little bit.
Man.
Because between social distancing and people wearing the face mask and not max capacity, it's hitting our bottom line, man. You know what I mean?
Man.
So it's fucked up, and I just wish this shit would hurry up and be over.
Yeah, man. How is it because you're based in LA? Yeah. So how is it as far as I know, living in New York? I live in Brooklyn, so living in New York is frustrating. The few times that I do go out, when I go out and I see people not social distancing, not wearing their masks, how is LA with that respect?
You know, LA seems pretty disciplined, but but when you look online and I really thought it was just regulated to white folks, because I was looking like this Corona shit, like white folks do not like being told what to do. These niggas bitch about masks, we had to wear chains. But every time I look on social media, there's a scene somewhere in Atlanta where niggas act like it's Freaknik. We back in 98. You know what I mean? No masks or nothing. So it ain't just white folks acting irresponsible. It's us too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You mentioned bottom line. How would you say, how strongly has this affected you as a performer? Because I imagine, just like myself and every other comic I know, this is the longest, since you started comedy, this is the longest you've ever not been on stage.
Yeah. It's weird, man, because when they started opening the country back up, everybody had their fingers crossed, like, okay, we're going to do this right, we're going to do this slow and surely, but, at some point we're going to get right back into the natural groove of things. But, dude, I've had gigs, like I worked the whole week of every month all year. I've had at least 2 months worth of gigs get canceled on me to the point where I'm only working once a month. So, it's just, like I said, man, it's just for morale, man. It's just like, God damn, it's tough enough doing the shows with this condom comedy, with our faces wearing these face condoms. But, nigga, to have to go in there now and now not work at all. And it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. What have you been doing to sort of, maintain your mental health and not lose your grip with reality?
I ain't even gonna lie to you, nigga. Vodka and weed, nigga. It's some PlayStation. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. I don't have no I ain't got no yoga. Nigga, it's just vodka and weed, nigga.
That's as real as it gets. Because I ain't gonna front. Pretty much, listen, I'm one of those cats that I can't play PlayStation too long. Like, outside of this, I'll get like maybe 2 or 3 games a year on PlayStation. And I know how addicted I get to God of War or Star Wars, any of those games. So I play them and ration. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play for like an hour or 2 and that's it. Because otherwise I'm not gonna be creative. I'm not gonna write. I'm sitting up till like 4 o'clock in the morning, just escaping from reality into other worlds, into these fantasy worlds, because it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, man. I don't really, for me, the creative process usually comes when I'm on the road and I'm not sitting in a house full of people, and it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's dark in my room, no TV, no sunlight, and I'm just on my ass laying in bed trying to figure out, what the next step is creatively, be it on my podcast, be it a skit, be it stand up, whatever it is. So, for me, sometimes when I come home, because I'm so much on the road and I do everything on the road, when I'm home, nigga, I'm home. I don't go out. I don't do nothing. I just say fuck stand up, fuck comedy. I just need to relax a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. No, I mean, and which is important. And I know there's so many of us that are so used to being on the road, living on the road, living out your suitcase, and that becomes the norm. I have my first gig coming up at Acme next month, and I got excited when I went on Delta's website, because I hadn't been on a just looking at flights excited me, because I'm so used to that and hadn't had that in so many months, that I actually felt the endorphins, like, oh, finally, I get on the plane, and it's exciting, but that's also our norm. That's our life.
What's Acme again? That's Minnesota.
Acme's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right. It's that and the House of Comedy. Yo, honestly, that's one of my favorite clubs in the country. I know that a lot of people. I know people sometimes will play either Acme or the House of Comedy in the mall. But my preference is how there's certain cities that are that the crowds are just comedy literate,
Right.
And you can build and build your set and really take some chances. Minneapolis and Acme Comedy Club is one of those clubs that when I got booked, I was like, okay, you know, this being my first club to go back and get busy on, I'm excited that it's this one. You know?
Yeah, man, for me, it's like, you know, I recently did for the first time, you know, Chuckles got 2 clubs, one in Memphis, and they just opened one in Mississippi. And listen, I jokingly say, but with all due respect and love on my podcast, I'm not a big fan of the South, only because I just don't think I fare as well there as I do, like you said, East Coast, West Coast, Philly, New York, DC Improv, Baltimore, Chicago, anywhere on the West Coast. I just think I'm a different vibe with the Southern crowd. Like I recently went to Mississippi and, you know, the girl said to me, you know, I ordered a pizza. And she literally was like, what street are you on? And I was like, I got to get the fuck out of Mississippi before I run into some slave catchers. I like niggas that read. So, you know, I'm a city boy. You know what I mean? I'm Ray Gibson.
Yeah.
Claude.
Yes, sir.
So I just like a little bit. And you know, certain guys who I know are a beast in the South. They're a beast, period. But, like, you know, Arnez J, Bruce. I just think there's a little bit of something in they swagger where the South and them, you know, come together. I just feel like a lot of time, and it's not like I don't do well in the South and I don't get love in the South, and I got love for the South. I'm a city dude, man.
Right. No, and you're right. It's interesting because as a performer, there are different regions where certain cats that are hot in other regions have a name down there, but like you said, like a name like Arnez J, like Arnez, you know, you go someplace down south and they're like, man, Arnez J, you's a funny dude, Aries Spears, but Arnez was here last week.
Lavelle Crawford, like, you know,
Lavelle,
yeah, man. Like certain clubs I've been to in the South where it was just like, you know, I know they sold out, they killed it.
Yeah, man.
And for some reason, like I said, I just don't think I translate in the South as much as I'd like to, you know, but, you know, it be what it be.
Right. And real quick, rest in peace to Tyler Craig, who's also one of those beasts down south. I met him in, I want to say 96 and hilarious comic, but also just a genuinely nice cat, man. Just a real down to earth cat.
Did they say what he passed from?
I didn't, and it's funny that you say that because a couple people have asked me, and I'm like, you know what? You never know when's the right time to ask people. So when the handful of people I know from like Atlanta that found out and told me or whatever, I just let him. I was like, you know what? It don't matter. He's gone, and it's unfortunate that the brother is no longer here because he was a funny dude. And well respected. But back to you. I'm gonna take it back, man, because I know we have only a certain amount of time. Where did you start? Because you're from New York originally.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I came up with like Bill Bellamy, Hamburger Jones, Derek Fox, the original Shanae.
Shantae, the original.
Shanae.
Say that again.
You know what I mean? Wink, wink, nigga.
Right.
But nonetheless, I mean, I came up in the Jersey, New York area, Tribeca, Indigo Blues, the Peppermint Lounge, East Orange. So, you know, one of my last gigs, one of my favorite stories to tell is I remember I did a spot, I think it was called Indigo Blues or Tribeca. It might have been one or the other. But Tracy Morgan and I did the gig together. And then we took a cab from where we was at in Queens back up to the city, and this nigga Earled all in the back of the cab, fucked up. But he was still Tracy Morgan, you know.
He had the propeller?
I don't do the propellers back then. I don't do a great Tracy Morgan, but it was like, yo, man, I apologize for that. Let's go to the city. You know, it just, you know, just a wild boy, man.
Tracy always been crazy, son.
Yeah, man.
And that's what's funny, because he still... He threw up. He was like, "Yo, I mean, I apologize, Papa, but listen, we gotta get these stages."
Yeah, there you go. That was great, dude. I never saw you do that. That was amazing. Oh man.
Thanks, man. So when you started, because I remember, because I started in '92, And I remember the first time, you know, as somebody that did impressions, I remember the first time I saw you in the light. I think you had a light blue denim joint.
Yeah. My Eddie Murphy
clearly, yeah, everybody, yeah, because you had the black leather.
Yeah.
Black leather gloves.
I didn't want to make it too obvious on Def Jam by wearing all leather, so I threw it off. I said, let me go denim, jean jacket and pants, and the leather glove.
The leather glove.
That's as far as I'll go. But I was, my God, nigga.
But when you put your foot on them like that, cause you hit them hard. And how old were you at the time?
Def Jam?
Yeah.
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you were on there with who became legendary comics, you know.
Well, my show was Ellen Cleghorn, Arnez J, and one other brother. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Dude. Yeah.
But you came off that, and that's what was interesting about Def Comedy Jam is that everybody popped every time. Like I've had a couple of from Talent to Rob Stapleton to Guy Torrey, and we spoke about the impact of Def Jam, especially in those early years. You know, by the time I did it, it was more a rite of passage, and you were part of the fraternity.
Yeah.
But I think the seasons that you did it in those first 2 or 3 cycles of the show, when you did it, you had like an opener and then a closer that like hit people like grabbed the audience's neck, and everybody was like, "Yo, did you see this young cat? He had impressions, and then on top of that, he did the Michael Jackson and shut it down, son." And I think and you almost burnt yourself, right? Didn't you?
It not really, but it was you know, it was a what's that? It was a homage or a respect to, you know, Michael. So I just listen, man. You know what's really crazy, and I told Bob some of this. When you go back and look at all the old Def Jams, right, from Bellamy to me, Corey Holcomb, whoever, it's like we all had these little nervous tics that we did on stage. Like Bill Bellamy must have said, "That's crazy, right?" a million times. Every time he said something, people go, "Yo, that's crazy, right?"
That was crazy, right? Yeah,
right. And so when you go back and you watch all of us, you could see how green we were now versus when you see us now. We like jazz musicians, man. Yeah. We just let the music come to us, man. You know, John Coltrane, Miles Davis. You know, we just let it flow, man. It's not. You might still get nervous, but it ain't that. Oh, you can tell he's new with this. We seasoned. You can see the seasoning now. Right,
and which is true because I did something. I did a Zoom talk earlier, and we were talking about doing shows during this whole COVID. And I still haven't done a Zoom show, but my man Ali Sadiq did something on this COVID comedy show probably in April. So we were only about a month into this. So I did something on there. It was the first time in, I'm gonna say, probably 2 decades that I felt nervous. Right. Like, because we all have anxiety in that, you know, when it's showtime, you know, it's not so much nerves. It's just, okay, I just want to get my head right and you know, find my center. But it's not, you're not nervous because you've done it a million times, so you know how to win immediately. It's more, all right, you know, let me get my head right. But this is the first time I actually felt myself like, yeah, this is uncharted territory. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, between the Zoom thing and I know they're starting to do comedy outside, which I've never loved because anytime you can sit Indian style with your shoes and socks off on the grass, you too relaxed for comedy. You're not ready to receive jokes. You're too relaxed.
You're right.
So I never liked the outdoor element, the Zoom shit. I'm just real old school, man. Like I came up in the 80s, and you know, of course, like everybody else, I did my homework, knew about Richard Pryor, but Eddie was my era. So between Richard, Eddie, Carlin, Chris Rock, and all the people from that era on, like I'm old school. I'm stubborn, man. I can't. Whatever that new wave is for comedy. You know, niggas doing a Zoom in your room by yourself. No. That to me is like beating off, nigga. I need content. You know what I mean? I can't. I don't do that.
I agree. I did that one, and I was supposed to do a Zoom thing, and it happened right around when the Black Lives Matter and then George Floyd really was boiling over, and I just it didn't happen. But I'm actually glad it didn't, because someone told me later on that they did a Zoom show and got heckled, and to me, it's bad enough having to do a show in your living room or your bedroom, but just to have a dude laying on his bed watching you and
talking shit.
You,
right?
Yeah, man. That's I said, you know what, I'll wait.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I would rather wait till either I could do it right or I don't want to fuck with it at all.
Right. So, and you know what, you mentioned something that how important, because you like me. Eddie is like our Yoda, right? Eddie's like our Yoda. And what was it about Delirious that I'm imagining that's one of the things that sort of made you say that's what I want to do?
Yeah, that and his run on SNL.
Of course, yeah.
Because like again, the impressions and all that, that's really the characters what inspired me to want to, do that. But there was just a realness and a rawness in the 80s. Tail end of the 70s, starting of the 80s. It was and I remember when my dad took me to go see 48 Hours in Trading Places. And the effect that Eddie had on people in the theater, the way they would laugh. From doing stand-up, there's a difference between a laugh and you are touching somebody.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It's guttural. Yeah. It's the tear ducts are wet. And Eddie had that kind of powerful response, and I loved it. I love that kind of attention when you hear that.
And Eddie also, he had unlike, say, like everybody had their rhythm and their swagger, but Eddie I think spoke to us because he was young. He was younger compared to everybody else, right? And B, he had that first wave of hip hop energy where it was just, he was cool, right? There was a coolness to him, but there was also a relatability where it's like Richard, when Richard spoke, Richard was like an adult, and you were a kid like I was a kid. So it was funny, but it didn't connect. But Eddie, talking about whether it was Aunt Bunny to the ice cream man, we were kids, so we could relate. We can relate to it.
Let me ask you this, because prior to the explosion of Def Jam, Hollywood only allowed one nigga per decade.
Yeah, so I call it the Highlanders. Yeah, they treated us like Highlanders.
Right. So you had like Pryor in the '60s. Red Fox in the '60s. Pryor in the '70s. Eddie in the '80s. Then Def Jam exploded, and it was a different game. Do you think that if Def Jam was around with those kind of comedians and that much talent, that many comedians, Eddie would have still stood out had he come along at the same time?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. I think talent still, regardless of hypotheticals, Eddie still would have risen to the top. But I think the class and the opportunities, a lot of the cats that came up with Eddie would have popped probably a little sooner, because I'll take it back even before Def Jam. I think after Eddie, you had that small window of Hollywood Shuffle, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and then Eddie did the Uptown Comedy Express. So you had Chris Rock and Arsenio and Robert Townsend and Mooney, and then Barry Sobel. You gotta have a white so I think those opportunities weren't present, and the same cast that we saw eventually pop would have just popped a little sooner.
Right. And I say this, all due respect, like Robert Townsend, who I think is one of the greatest comedic writers and thinkers, and we know Paul Mooney and all that, and Keenan Ivory Wayans. But it always felt like to me, and I think you just used the word, of that class. Undoubtedly, Eddie was head and shoulders above everybody. Whereas, again, when you look at Def Jam, Cedric, Steve, Bernie, Cat, Chappelle, I can go on and on and on. Eddie Griffin.
Yeah.
Does Eddie Murphy stand out as strong? Because I'm just saying, I think of the guys he came up with.
Right.
Hands down, he was Jordan. He was Jordan.
Right.
Everybody else was all-star players, but he was Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's still Jordan in the Def Jam era.
Yeah, that's an interesting. That's an interesting. That's a hard. It's hard for me to do the comparison because so many people, after Eddie and Def Jam being like a decade after Delirious, after we saw him do it, we saw sort of a formula of his style, of his flow. Right. And so when Def Comedy Jam premiered, you saw a variety of styles, which to me is what was dope about Def Jam, because Bernie didn't sound like DL, and DL didn't sound like Eddie Griffin, and so forth.
And Chris Tucker was so a dude of his own.
Right. So that's I'm not big on hypotheticals, but that's actually a dope hypothetical because it makes you think. It makes you wonder.
Man. Yeah. And I mean, look, white mainstream America didn't know that there was that many of us out there. Which is why when Def Jam exploded, it wasn't a mystery, because you got all this talent all over the country that never had a platform.
Exactly.
So it gave white America and black America a chance to go, well, black people know we've been here, but it gave white people know there's so many of you. So, we could give them more to choose from, even though Hollywood still has its list of automatic go-tos.
Yeah, of course. Well, because of comfort, they go with we joked a couple weeks ago. We were talking about there's a group of black actors that if you've been in a movie with Gabrielle Union, there were like 5 leading men that they always leaned on. Right, and that's not to take away from their talent. That's not to take away from Morris Chestnut's talent. Right. Look, I'm trying to think of everybody who was in The Best Man. Tay Diggs. Right. And so
Terrence Howard, dudes like
Terrence
that.
Howard. Yeah. Those you always saw or still see the same people get cycled through. Right. And so as an actor, you're always like, all right, I'm vying to get in that class where I can at least be in the conversation when it's time to cast people. So at what point did you decide that you were going to pursue this?
I mean, I knew it basically 14. Which is when I started. I just knew prior to 14, I thought, I kind of always knew I wanted to be famous, but I thought I was going to be a rapper. I tried that. I thought I was going to be boxer, but I come from bad stock, nigga. My mother's from Mississippi. My father's from Tennessee. Salt and grease was important to us. So I knew I didn't have that in me. But I'd always been funny and always been trying to be a cut up. So I was like, fuck it, man. And I read somewhere that, Eddie Murphy and I had the same birthday, same sign. So I was
April 4th.
Yeah, April 3rd. So
April 3rd.
So I read that he had started at 14. So I just took all that as inspiration and said, fuck it.
Right. And do you remember, and I'm not going to ask you to do your first set, but do you remember?
Listen, me and my mother and my sister went to the Improv first. And back then, to get on stage, you had to draw your number out of a hat. Right. So all three of us put numbers in. None of us got called. So I'm deflated. And then we about to go back home to Jersey. And a dude told my mother, there's this spot called the Uptown Comedy Cafe up in Harlem. So you might want to go check that out. So at that time, all I did was I did 3 impressions. I did Jack Nicholson, Eddie Murphy, and James Brown doing a Pepsi commercial. But yeah, that shit where I'm in the mirror at home, like, I'm so and so for. So I just did that, and it did well. It killed, and I was just the bug was in me.
Yeah. When you booked Def Jam, because it's crazy just saying you're still in high school when you booked Def Jam.
Yeah, I watched my premiere at one of my white friends' house, and the whole fucking school was over there. Now I started getting pussy. Oh, it was beautiful.
I know it was age 16. Because you go back to school on Monday and everybody's yo. You were no longer you were Aries Spears. Then they put respect on your name.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful, man. And shortly after that, I dropped out of school, got my GED, moved to LA.
And when you got to LA, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember hearing, did Debbie Allen and her husband Norm Nixon, they were your managers?
Norm was my manager, yeah.
Norm was your manager? Okay.
Norm was my manager, and Debbie was the producer, showrunner on Different World. Obviously, because her husband's my manager, I did 2 episodes of that, and I remember D.L. Hewley was the opener for Fresh Prince, and he was doing stand-up. He was the warm-up.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and so I had done a show with him and Michael Kyer in Detroit the year before. So when I went by Fresh Prince, DL showed me love and was like, yo, y'all gotta check this young dude out, Def Jam, blah, blah, blah. So he let me get up and do like a 2 minutes of stand-up. During the taping. Long story short, word got around town fast. Yo, there's this hot young kid in here, amazing, blah, blah, blah. So for the next 5 years of my life in LA, I just had holding deals. Now, they don't do those no more. But back in the days, they gave you a holding deal and said, look, we're going to give you X amount of money to take you off the market and develop something. So every year I was with a new network with nothing developed, but I had probably made $1 million before I was 21. And eventually I found my way on the Mad TV when I finally signed my last deal at Fox.
And was the because here's what's funny. I remember South of Sunset, and I faintly remember I think from the pilot there was a scene with you and Glenn Fry, and I remember watching. I was like, that's like 48 hours, like Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, man. Listen, it was crazy because we got murdered. First of all, we were up against Home Improvement, which was the number one show in television, followed by Melrose Place, which was another hot show. Then it was during the World Series, and LA was going through the fires. So we didn't even air in LA. And Glenn Fry was such a, God rest his soul, but he was such a dick to the network heads because he wasn't really a great actor, but they hired him because he was Glenn Fry. But halfway through the shoot, he got an acting coach. So his shit got better. So he was like, yo, don't air the first episodes where I was terrible. Let's reshoot it. It was like, you know how much money that's going to cost? Nah, we ain't doing that. So he cursed them out, was like, F y'all and this. And nigga, so between the fires, the World Series, Home Improvement, Melrose Place, and bad ratings, nigga, we got canceled after the first episode.
Damn. Yeah. When that happens, because you're still a young kid. When that happens, are you thinking, "Damn, well, this is my big shot and that's it," or are you just rolling with like, "All right, on to the next"?
Dean, I was so arrogant, nigga. You couldn't tell me. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't gonna be the next shit. I watched the old footage of me when I was on Entertainment Tonight. And they was promoting the show. And I said some shit that when I watched it today made me cringe. I was like, I said, yo, mark my word, 2 years from now, I'm going to be the biggest box office star in the world. Nigga, further from the truth. Cut to nigga. Nah. So I was humbled. I was so arrogant, nigga. I was cringe.
But you know what, and what I could appreciate about that is at least maturity has let you look back on it and say, I might have been tripping a little bit, but success in entertainment, and specifically in stand-up, does require a certain amount of confidence. And you can't be on Entertainment Tonight saying, well, I hope this goes well, but
no, hey, that's exactly what you should be saying. That's exactly what you should be saying. Because white folks love niggas that hope maybe, could be. I'm with the best. So it's in God's hands. White folks love niggas like that. I was straight. Yo, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have a butler. I'm going to have a Learjet. Oh, nigga. Oh, no.
They're like, geez, he's young, but it's kind of cocky. And
yeah, that
glove on.
Yeah, dude, it was cringeworthy.
But that had that show continued, you might not have gotten the opportunity with Mad TV. So everything happens in its time for its reason, you know.
Yeah. Listen, man, I've been fortunate in the sense that I started young enough to where I could make certain kind of mistakes.
Right.
And learn from them. And shit, I'm still making mistakes.
Right. We all do.
But at the end of the day, listen, and this is not, I'm trying as hard as I can, since I just said what I said, not to be arrogant. But I think that if I was a half-ass comic or, some bullshit-ass comic, I would have fizzled out a long time ago. Now, I know all the haters will call me washed up, but, nigga, I'll tell them, look at your life and look at mine. On your worst day, or my worst day is better than your best day. So let's keep it in perspective. But that being said, I mean, I'm still here. I'm still relevant. I'm still respected. I still can go on the road and sell out venues. And I ain't been on TV in a major way, shit, in maybe 15 years. Last time I was in a major movie, Jerry Maguire, it's 22 years ago. Now, I've done things along the way. I've done things to sustain me. But in terms of what people would call big time shit, it ain't been that. But the fact that I'm still here 30 years later, I think I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you are, and to those people that would say that, because we hear it all the time in our industry. Think about how many 6-figure failures we know. But because I think the average person, layperson, judges what we do based on whatever they're seeing the masses consume, whether it's in major feature film or television. But to me, success is really based on are you able, like you said, you've been doing this 30 years, you've been able to sustain a career for 30 years, which is a success in and of itself. On top of that, I remember meeting your daughter at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, and I'm sure she has the best education. You live comfortably. So what do we really gauge success off of? And that's what people lose perspective on. So I salute anybody, that still is here. Because in what we do, this is peaks and valleys, right? And the main goal is just to continue. If you continue and you win it, that's a win right there.
Well, one of the best comedians of all time, God rest his soul, Patrice O'Neal. I remember when I saw him do an interview, he was like, the guy said to him, "Have you made it?" And he goes, "Well, what's it? What's making it?" So, and listen, all of our definitions are different in terms of what's making it. Because what's making it for me might not be what's making it for you. And again, that's what I'm saying in terms of perspective. For the motherfuckers that have never done it, for the motherfuckers that talk shit, okay, your perspective is skewed because your standard of making it is what? Kevin Hart, the $20 million dude, the biggest mansions, cars, private jets. Yeah, that's sweet. I ain't gonna lie, we all would love to attain that. But just because we have not hit that level yet means what? We're failures?
Right.
Like, come on, man. I'm in the 50% tax bracket, nigga. I'm succeeding.
Right. Well, and real talk, you're in the 1% as far as entertainers, and then even higher up when you look at the grand scheme of how many stand-up comedians there are on the planet. You're in that 1%. You're in at least the top 5% of earners, because we know what kind of money you make when you're new in this. Versus, sometimes when you first start out, you're doing shows for free food and some money to get back and forth to the show. You're earning a living, and a nice living. I've been on the road where they were like, yeah, Aries was just here 2 weeks ago, and Tracy was here. So we're winning. You know what I mean?
I mean, just to be in that company though. Whether they go, yo,
right.
Aries was just here, Dean is coming, Godfrey's in 2 weeks, you know, Tracy Morgan. It's like if this is the NBA, we're playing with the other elites. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you know, some motherfuckers is performing at these C and D clubs where it's just like, you know, we couldn't even begin to afford to bring you. You know what I mean? We couldn't begin to afford to pay for your hotel. So, you know, it's just about perspective. And listen, man, at the end of the day, I tell people, all the people that hate on you, all the people that say that wow shit, are people that either don't know how or too scared to pursue their dreams. There's nothing I can think of worse in life than to have to get up, answer to a boss who tells you when to eat, who tells you when to come back from lunch. You got to punch the clock. You go home when he tell you go home. Like, nigga, we make our own, we work when we want to work. You know what I'm saying? Freedom. And in terms of perspective, again, we do a weekend, 4 shows, 5 shows, 1 hour Thursday, 1 Sunday, 2 Friday, Saturday. Okay, for 6 shows, for however much money we make, for 6 hours of work. Right. And other than when we on that stage, we in the room hibernating. We traveling, visiting the city. Might be getting some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I mean? We are our own bosses. So that's wonderful, man.
That's freedom right there, man. That's freedom. We got 19 more minutes. I'm keeping the clock. We still rolling. Talk to me about Mad TV, because it was such a big part of your life. And doing any, first of all, people have to understand, being on a TV show, first of all, getting hired on any TV show that makes it beyond pilot and lasts a season is a win. Right. Being on it for more than 1 season is a win. Being on it for 10 seasons is why, even if you haven't been on television or in film in a major way in 15 years, you still, when you go to wherever in the country or even, you know, overseas, because I know you do a lot of overseas gigs too and get paid quite well. So, you know, that the show was so important, and how did Mad TV come about? And you booking the show, I should say.
You know, like I said, when my round of deals finally came to head, Fox was my last stop. And at first, when I went to Fox, I had booked a pilot called Crosstown Traffic, which was basically the Mod Squad. And I also auditioned for Mad TV that same year. They wanted me, but I was locked into this deal with Aaron Spelling, and Aaron Spelling was behind Crosstown Traffic. And for those who don't know, he was the mastermind behind Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, Crescent Heights, Dynasty. So long story short, the pilot never got picked up, and I had spent 2 years with Fox, and the then head of the network, Peter Chernin, was a big fan of mine. So he was just like, look, man, your deal's about to expire. I want you on this network in some capacity. Even though we couldn't develop nothing for you, the pilot with Aaron Spelling didn't happen. You auditioned for Mad TV the first year they wanted you. So fuck it, you still want to do the show? And by that time, they were in season 3. So I was just like, yeah, man, put me on.
Okay. Because I and correct me if I'm wrong, I remember watching Arsenio, and were you on that when they premiered the new cast? Did they premiere the new cast, or what? It might have been when the show first started. I remember.
I think it was when the show first started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at that point I knew who you were, and so it's like you said, we were Highlanders. There were only so many of us. So anytime you saw one of us, you're like, oh, okay, he got an opportunity. That means I could get an opportunity. You know, it was like motivation. It was like motivation. So you were on, because I remember those early seasons, like Orlando Jones, Phil Lamar were like the Black Cats. You had Deborah Wilson. And so Mad TV, to me, seemed like the next step in the evolution of sketch comedy. Like you had SNL, then you had In Living Color, then you had Mad TV. And what I loved about Mad TV was you saw a multiracial cast, and it wasn't just one black cat. in each sketch. You know, you saw y'all across the board. So was there an overlap between you and Phil, or you and Orlando, or were you like the new black cat on the show?
I was more like the new black dude. You know, I'm gonna have a moment of vanity, and not just I'm gonna take myself completely out the equation. You know, Fox never supported Mad TV the way we would say would have. Like, look, man, we had Susan Sarandon on, Kathy Bates, Jay-Z, Gwen Stefani, Missy Elliott, some of the biggest names in music. Yeah. And they never promoted us, ever. The only promotion we would ever get would be the lead-in from the news. So if the news, if the 11 o'clock news came on, they cut off at 11:30. As they sign off, they go, and keep it locked here for Mad TV. How the fuck you got Susan Sarandon, Kathy Bates, Jay-Z, and y'all not running ads during the day on none of your shit?
Right.
So we always felt like we never got the respect from the industry that we deserved. The fans loved us. People that watched that younger generation of kids that grew up and will come up to me now and go, dude, I was this many years old when you was on the show. I grew up watching you. I used to sneak and watch you.
Right.
So we got a lot of love and appreciation from fans, but the industry, they could have gave a fuck about us. And Mad TV, other than SNL, is the longest running sketch show of all time. They did 14 years. No other sketch show outside of SNL has seen that kind of longevity.
Right, right. I'll do you one better, because I was a fan of Mad TV, and I remember, I remember when I was on Saturday Night Live. This is like season 1, baby, episode 6.
Right.
Because y'all came on at 11 and we went live at 11:30. I'm in my dressing room. Yeah, hey.
Will Ferrell told me the same shit.
Yo,
I bumped into him at a car wash, and he was like, "Yo, we used to watch y'all in the makeup room getting ready." Yeah.
Getting ready. I was like, because you like steel sharp and steel. So I'm watching like, oh, that's, you know, I remember like the world's greatest statutory rapist. Yeah, like the joints were funny. And his was funny. I ain't gonna say the kids member, but what, I'm watching, and because where my dressing room was, so this is my second season, like episode 5. I'm in my dressing room, and the TV's on, and a senior cast member walks by and kind of walks by and like, hey, really?
Wow. That's funny.
I was like, it's funny, you know, because I'm like, man, funny is funny. I ain't get caught up in the politics.
Man, I envy you, because, listen, I've always been real about it. I'm certainly grateful for my time on Mad TV. You know, it turned me from somebody struggling, trying to make a name for myself, to making a name for myself. And again, I worked with some fantastic Will Sasso, Mo Collins, Deborah Wilson, fucking
Deborah was
Stephanie
underrated.
Weir,
She doesn't
and this is what I'm saying. Like, I felt like a lot of those people, again, take me out the fucking equation.
Right.
I felt like all those people never got the shine they deserve. Deborah Wilson could impersonate Whitney Houston. I mean, look, as far as nailing Whitney's voice, 100%, nobody could do that. But she came damn close. She could do Oprah. She could act. She did so many impressions. She knew timing. Like, Deborah was a monster. And I always was like, she should be larger than what she really is. She should. And she never, you know, got that break.
People like in here, like I've seen a couple of comments like, yo, what happened to Deborah Wilson? Actually, because she still works. And again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, just because y'all don't see somebody doesn't mean they aren't working. Like she's in the most recent
Call of Duty,
Star Wars Fallen Jedi.
She's in Call of Duty, Star Wars, and Days Gone. Like, I'm a video game junkie. So I got about 3 games where I looked up, heard the voice, and I'm like, God damn, Deborah. So, you know, and she does a lot of voiceover, so she still works. But again, like Mo Collins eventually went on to do, I think she's on The Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead,
Will Sasso's got something he's doing on ABC.
He has a new show,
so, look, as long as they get their just due, man, I'm just saying they deserve it.
Yeah. So you do the show with 10 years, how much time? Because I know people want to see us do the impressions, and so we'll hit them with something, and like we'll give y'all 7 minutes. Lastly, because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, I'm up late now, just watching TV, and I turn on and it says the AVN awards.
Yeah,
Like, oh, it's Aries.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Because you've seen all these people late at night while you're in a hotel room,
right?
But now you're literally in their faces. They're yours. How did that?
Well,
come about?
AVNs. There was a lot of comedians who did it. Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah. Jim Norton. I know
Jim Norton.
Hosted, yeah.
So they've had a couple of people hosted, and again, they top-notch musical guests. The year I did it, the first year I did it. Lil Wayne was the guest. Second year I did it, Doja Cat. I forget what the DJ's name is. Some white dude with a cowboy hat. Lil Pump. You know what I mean? So the year before that was Cardi B. So they asked me to do it, and based on what they paid me and what it was, I said, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
That's why again I got to go back to this. When people go, man, you washed up. So let me make sure I understand this. I got a very high 5 figures, south of 50,000 to do that. And I'm surrounded by porno stars in Vegas for that amount of work for one night.
Right.
Niggas, please.
Right. It's a win.
Like come on, man.
Win.
Perspective, nigga. You punch the clock, I look at titties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna make it that one night, which you ain't gonna make in 2 years total.
Right.
Like, come on, man, knock it off, man.
Right. Doing a room like that, because every room is different, but playing that room, did you find it more challenging? I caught myself saying, was it harder? But that seemed too close to a pun. Right. Was it more challenging?
It was
doing a room like that?
Because I went into it assuming, like, a lot of comics don't like doing colleges. And my manager always felt like, dude, you would kill a college.
Right.
Nah, that's a misconception. They don't know shit. They ain't got no real life experience. They can't relate to shit. Some of my references is from the 80s and 90s. So a lot of my shit go over their head. I'm saying that to say it's a horrible experience. But the assumption is I'm going to be a kid in a candy store. I thought the same thing about the AVNs. I'm going, man, these is porn stars. This is wild shit. This is going to be great. But the producer was like, listen, man, you have to be careful with this crowd because they don't want to be laughed at. They want to be laughed with. And if you go in there and you make a bunch of jokes belittling them and making the girls feel like whores and tramps and the dudes ain't shit, they will turn on you.
Right.
So you got to play this a certain way, which killed my spirit because all my jokes was fucked up. All the shit I wrote was going to demolish these niggas. So I had to revamp my set to basically make them know, hey, I come amongst you as a friend, not an enemy who's trying to make fun of you. And, it went really well and they liked it.
Yeah, no, I saw it. Because I didn't know exactly, but I was like, this seems like it's a challenging room.
Yeah, it was.
But you got them.
Yeah. You just have to know, you got to come in there with a game plan.
Right.
I thought I could just wing it.
Right. and real quick, before we do any impressions, because I want to make sure people go check out your podcast, Spears and Steinberg. Give us a real quick, like one sheet on what the show is and what y'all talk about.
Andy Steinberg is my featured comedian. He opens for me. He actually approached me in the early beginnings when he started opening up for me, and he was like, "Yo, I got my own podcast that ain't doing shit. So why don't me and you to get together and do one?" So we started it, and best to describe it, it's 100% uncut Bolivian yayo. It's Blue Magic. We live in a brand name. Yeah, it's a brand name. We live in a moist era of comedy, and I think political correctness has run amok. And everywhere where you being told you can't say this, you can't say that, what to do, what not to do. We just talk about anything and everything. Straight Henny, no chaser.
Okay.
Raw.
Okay.
This is STD type shit. This is raw. You try to give you something.
Right. How many episodes have y'all done?
Tomorrow, Wednesday will be 180.
Oh, son, congratulations. Y'all make sure you go subscribe to
It's called Spears and Steinberg. Available on all social platforms, Google Play, Apple, Anchor, Spotify, Amazon, or you can hit me up in my DMs and I'll send it to you personally.
Boom, boom. Lastly, because we gotta because I love your Mooney. I love your Mooney. Can we hit him with you never saw me do Tracy since that. So Tracy and Mooney.
The Tracy.
Yeah, okay.
I like that.
All right, so yo, Paul Mooney, man, Papa, listen, I'm a fan. I bow down to your greatness.
First of all, nigga, what is a papa? Don't call me no shit. I don't know. What the fuck is a goddamn papa, nigga?
No, Papa, listen. That's my ultimate respect. I'm paying you homage. I'm paying you homage.
Nigga, you are not Puerto Rican. You are not Latino, nigga. Talk like a nigga. All that white folk money.
I got good hair like a Dominican.
Nigga, your hair looks like a black person's ass, nigga. Your shit is rough. You got slave hair, nigga.
That's a baby hair. That's like if Halle Berry had a baby with El DeBarge.
Nigga, you are too much. Tracy, you're a wildin' nigga. I heard about your divorce. That bitch is going to rape you, nigga.
Well, listen, listen. I can't. Paul, I ain't gonna lie. You kind of cut deep. I've been through a lot.
Nigga, why didn't you have her sign a prenup? Prenup is marriage's condom. Strap up.
You know what?
Strap up.
I ain't gonna say. You know what? You could be right. You could be right. Everybody, listen. Sometimes you have a bad night. I had a bad couple of years. I wasn't paying attention. First Walmart, now this.
She's gonna get you, nigga. I'm telling you, she's going to get you. You let them white folks fool you, nigga. All that goddamn money for a nigga, and you didn't have her sign a prenup, nigga. Are you crazy?
I wasn't thinking. I mean, you know what? I was lulled into a false sense of security. Or when you say "till death do us part," I'm thinking this is how long it's gonna last. Who knew?
Well, nigga, she's gonna get that Walmart money, nigga. She's gonna get all that goddamn Walmart money.
She ain't getting all of it. I stashed some of it away in the projects in Bed-Stuy.
Oh, well, there you go, nigga. There you go.
That's called contingency.
Well, there you go, nigga. I didn't even know you know how to say contingency.
Contingency. I want to spell and be in second grade.
Nigga, you sound like you're still in kindergarten.
No, that's called the Jedi mind. I Jedi mind tricked the entire industry. I fooled everybody. Everybody thinks I'm slow. I'm too quick.
Well, nigga, fool them again and give me some of that goddamn money.
Listen, if you need money, I got you. But listen, I'm gonna have to. I can't hear. Paul, are you still there? Nigga, I can't hear you, Papa.
I got Paul. You. Nigga. I got you, nigga.
Paul, you know what? I was gonna loan him some money too. Yo, hold on. I gotta do something. See, I love doing these just cause Steel, man. Steel's off his seal. I'm not thinking who else. Who else? We only got 2 minutes left.
Let me give him some Shaq.
Shaq and Denzel. Shaq and Denzel. So Shaquille. You know what? I did not realize how big you were till I saw you. You're a big guy.
Always been big. Always been this my whole life. Everybody knows this how big I am. 7'2", and I dominate. So I gotta be big. I gotta dominate.
You know what? You are big. You dominated for many years, and I gotta say, if nobody else says it, I see. You with the general. I see you with Papa John's. You're making money.
I gotta make this money. I'm not just the big diesel. I'm the big bank. So I got all these endorsements. I'm trying to leave money for my kids. I'm trying to leave money for everybody.
Yeah. No, you're not trying. Hey, Shaq. Shaquille. You're not trying. You're doing. Huh? You're doing.
My guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Dean, I gotta ask you, man. I know you probably know. You heard of C. King?
You know what? Godfrey told me about him because I know y'all did the Def Jam thing when COVID first started.
Yeah.
I saw son. He got skills.
I put him on to it. Listen, man. And I said in the interview that I did, I said, I think there's 5 guys that do Denzel. Myself, Dean, Reggie Reg, Pharaoh and Godfrey.
Pharaoh. Yeah.
But after I saw this nigga C King, man, I hung it up. I had to retire it, man. That nigga shit is so. I mean, he does Denzel like Frank Caliendo does Madden. Like it just. I feel silly doing it now. I just feel silly. Sometimes I'll be in my car and I'll be, going through certain Denzel movies and certain gestures, and I feel
Aries,
like we're,
real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's going to cut off. And can we come back in for a couple more minutes?
Nigga, I would love to, but I got